So yes, so I'm in the careers, employability and student enterprise. And one of our main aims here is on the right hand side is the thing about being a successful futures. So we want students to go out there and be successful. And within the department, we have the careers guidance team. We have trying to embed employability skills and understanding that students getting these skills all the way through their university degrees, looking at mini students who want to do a small business within our entrepreneurship and business support. And then you have us, the blue at the bottom, where we're trying to look for providing paid work experience for our students throughout their journey with us. But to make this successful, we want to work with businesses to support your growth, your heading on with your challenges that you have, and looking at what kind of fresh ideas our students can give you in up-to-date knowledge and research that they've been doing but they've been learning within their courses. So it's this working together to get the best out of it each time. So we have within our team, so I work in the employer engagement coordination side. So we speak to employers and try and reach as many employers as possible and to let them know all about the opportunities that employers can engage with us at the university. And I then work alongside our work experience team, who are all student facing. So when we have employers, we find some students and then we pass you to the work experience team, and then they then support that student. So the employer is supported by us and the students are supported by a work experience team. But as you can see here, there are many ways that you can actually come and join us. So I'm going to touch on the top 4 here, first of all. I'm not going to cover the ones at the bottom unless you want me to speak a little bit more about those particular ones. Otherwise, my session would take way longer, and I know I can talk. So if you need to pause me or make me go faster, please do let me know. Has anyone, so I know you've already identified that a few of you have already used and participated in some of our projects. Which is absolutely fantastic to hear. In that first slide, I had the names of the team. So when you contact us, you can actually access all of us at any time. So in regards to UoS internships, UoS internships are an exclusive opportunity for businesses to recruit our students. What this means is that businesses, the opportunities can only come to our students, and why that's helpful to yourselves is that you then get that dedicated support through that whole process of recruiting someone. My next slide will show you the process of what that slimline process actually looks like, which is about 6 to 8 weeks from the uploading it to the system and then having an intern. So that's kind of the wording and the process, the timeframes that you're looking at. What's really exciting about our UoS internships is that we get grant funding for you. So we get grant funding for local SMEs that goes past Portsmouth, all past Bournemouth and further up north. So it's all quite encompassing. We're right in the centre, which means we can't just say the region. And it's much wider than that. And then charities and third sectors and any startups, organisations from all sectors and industries. So potentially that all 9,000 businesses within New Forest might think, oh, this is exciting, might be able to get some grant funding. There are 2 different levels of grant funding available. The charities, third sectors and startups have a much higher grant fund in comparison to the local SMEs, but it's a nice an addition to your businesses. The internships are typically quite project-based, so it could range from doing a web tool integrator. We had website wizards. We've had a lot of marketing programs. We've had also youth program support, air quality monitoring, front-end developer, graduate design engineers, marketing, business development, video content creator, you name it. Let's have a chat and see whether it works for you. An element that I wanted just to share over this last year, we've had about 110 employers. So at the top, I put external employers. We do have UoS internships that are internal, but they're not grant funded unless it's a specific program. So these is definitely for external employers. And you can see the percentage breakup of where our external employees who have had grant funding have come from. So it's quite similar between local SME startups and charities, whilst the set squared is a separate area, and the priority sectors are the arts and culture and space and areas that we're wanting to put more energy in. But we want as many internships as possible for our students. So if you're interested, please do speak to me. And then this is the process that I mentioned. It's quite small. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it too well, but right at the beginning, you have the application form, and I'll click on that at the end so you can see the process. It's a very quick form that just gets us thinking about who, under what grant funding stream that you come under. And then that depends on obviously the amount that you would get. We then have a discussion about the job description. If you've got any issues about it, you would then log on to our My Career system, which is the platform to uploading any job descriptions, any voluntary opportunities, any internships are on here, and we would help you support that. We would then advertise your opportunity for 2 to 3 weeks. We say 3 weeks. If applications are low, then we might increase it. If they're high, we might decrease it. It all depends on the time of year those opportunities are added into the system. So for example, right now, the university is now, the students have all gone home, except some of the master's students. Then the number of interests might reduce. But when you're thinking about the beginning of the year, then we have had 50 to 60 applicants for some positions. From that, we would then, so all of those applicants will come straight to us within our team. And once that application process is finished, we will then send you directly the whole PDF of all the different applicants, where you would then shortlist the students that you want to interview, and then let us know who you've chosen and that you've said no to the other applicants. Then we take you through a process agreement. This is where I pass you over to our work experience team, then to complete the right to work checks, and then your internship starts. The student has the availability to have a conversation with our work experience team to say, what is it like to work for an organisation? Many students in early careers haven't had the opportunity to work in a business, and therefore we don't want to just say have someone. We want to prepare them. And so if there's any issues, any conversations throughout the process of that internship, the student has someone here within our careers department to talk to, and you have someone to talk to as well. So we are looking after you from all directions. Any questions on the UoS internships?
Yeah, can I just ask, will you be able to share that information with us? I'm trying to write it down as you're writing.
Yes.
But... Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you.
And it's all on our website as well. So I'll show you where the website is, and then you can look through.
Kate, I just have a question about the timeline as well. So you says here it's 6 to 8 weeks. That's the process from completing a form to an internship start average.
Yeah.
Okay, so and you're saying at the beginning of the year there's more applications. So is this internship for them to do like once a week while they're studying, or is it when they've graduated?
Okay, yes, that's a very good question. So the grant funding is 210 hours. So it's about 6 weeks. You can either do a part-time or a short part-time or a full-time. Over the summer, they're typically full-time because students are not working. Whilst during the term time, then we suggest working a maximum of 10 hours a week so that they can actually do their studies at the same time. If you have an international student, then they can work up to 20 hours as their maximum. So those kind of conversations that you'll have with us if you've chosen whatever students you've shortlisted. Yeah, that's a very good point that I missed.
With when you say 10 hours per week when they're studying, if they then went home like over Christmas or something, would that then impact the time frame of how long the internship lasts?
Yes, it would. Yes, but it's that conversation that you would have with the intern. It's not something that we can decide because we don't know what the intern's time frames are, and we don't know what your time frames are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just to give you an idea, we had someone at NFBP from September, October, and November. That was about the 210 hours. And then there was someone from beginning of December, but of course with the Christmas break, and then that took till about February. And then you can usually squeeze one more in before they get into things like exams and summer holidays. We don't take someone over the summer, even though that's our busiest time, ironically. But we currently, our current next one is coming at the beginning of, I think it's August, September, you know, just prior to starting up university again. We've had undergraduates and postgraduates. I have opinions on which is better, but that, you know, they're all good. But I think the more you want someone just to drop in and sort of get on, and I think you've hinted as well that, you know, the older they are, probably the better they are. So, but you know, the university helps you with that, and it's your choice at the end of the day. You have the CVs like any other normal job, so it's your choice. You don't have to choose any of them if you don't wish to. But it is quite encouraging when you get, I don't know, we had about 30 applicants, so that was pretty good. So you know, there is a degree of flexibility within the rules of 210 hours, conversation with the candidate about what works best for them. Ours did 3 days a week, and was able to do their studies the rest of the time.
Yeah, fantastic.
Okay, just following on from that, so you mentioned charities and third sector, what could be eligible for the funding. Does it also include CICs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, thank you, Matthew. That was really good. The other addition there is that you can have up to two within the year, within that year. So you can either 2 at the same time, or 2 one after the other, or whatever's the best time that you need. Yep. Perfect. The next program I wanted to mention is the student innovation projects. This is a competitive kind of a process for employers. It has no cost to you. We start prospecting in August to September for these projects to start in October, and they run to March. We have 5 groups, 5 stages of about 5 employers. We had less last year, just because of various reasons, but that's what we had decided. But this year we should be looking at 5 groups of 5, so about 25 businesses, where if there is a particular business challenge that you don't have the time or the resources to look into, and you think, wow, you know, let's ask some students to go away, research it, find some recommendations, and then they will then present to you their solutions at the end of 4 weeks as a presentation and as a report that you can take away with. What's exciting about this is the fact that it's free, but also it gives the students the ability to think about something that's tangible, that's real life, and then go away and sort it. This year we had one organisation who was in the pet industry, and they were selling overseas, but they really wanted to come within the UK a little bit more than there had been, and therefore the student was able to then build upon the knowledge. And at the end of it, the employer was super happy and said, "You've just done more than what other organisations have been able to do." I don't know whether it was because it was that 4 weeks, you know, the students only had 4 weeks to look into it and didn't have time to think wider. But that was a good element. And another employer this year, they came back and said during the presentation that a lot of the information the students came with was they had already considered, but the students came up with several phrases that they could just literally pick up and put it straight into tenders, into proposals to get further funding, and, you know, pushing it out there. And he said that it was goldmine for them. So there's not much time needed from an employer's perspective, other than putting the project brief together, speaking to the students at the beginning a couple of times during the session, the 4 weeks, and then coming on site and hearing from the 2 teams. So you get 2 teams of about 5 students. The students are from all different years and disciplines. So you're not sure, you know, so it's not just engineering students, it's not just business school, you know, it's not just maritime. You will have the whole, you should be able to get the whole different multiple perspectives. One element from this year is that we've had, as I said, just 20 employers this time. We had 192 students, and then from project briefs from, as you can see, very much more on the third sector charity side of organisations taking hold. And we do try and focus on organisations that don't always have that time or that resources, but they still want to grow their businesses, which is an important area for student innovation projects. It is competitive because there are only 25 spots. So we recommend employers to put their project briefs in August, September time. Excuse me. Any quick queries?
How do we do this, Kate? Because I'm familiar with Ripen, and getting the business school students support with the Ripen's online sort of academic business interaction scheme, but I don't know whether because I put it through the Ripen platform, it came in as one of these, or whether it was totally separate. And I'm not clear on the application process, because my business is so varied that it's quite useful to quite a lot of the different students at the business school, and they quite like using me as a lab rat. I'm very happy for that, but I don't know the process if it's not through Ripen.
Yeah, so the business school does their own element, but we support each other. So any employers that will get more out of the business school, then we work with them directly. But for this particular, sorry, I don't have any water near me. For this particular project, the process is literally just putting a project brief in. And what happens when the brief comes in, within the employee engagement team and our work experience team, we have a team of 2 that specifically just looks at the student innovation projects. We look at all the project briefs that come in and try and make as much diversity of project briefs as possible. So if we get 5 marketing ones, we'll probably try and do 1 or 2 in each round.
Yeah. So we just let Kate, you can go and grab some water for a moment and
Yeah.
Astrid
I noticed
will
you took a sip of
entertain
water when
us.
she said it, Matthew.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. Yeah, you go and get, if you've got some nearby, do
Oh,
go
bless
and grab
you.
some. Yeah, good. Yeah, so I mean, these projects could be really useful, and I think there are some New Forest businesses who've had a go. But for example, I could think of someone who's delivering leadership training who could get the students to work out why is it that young people in the New Forest don't buy into that young people's leadership training. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, they
That
might.
was almost word for word what my Ripen project was, Matthew.
Yes.
But in all seriousness, they do this at undergrad and postgrad level, but there's also something separate which a business school run for MBAs, so you can actually have MBAs coming into your business for free.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the amount of resource that is available to us through the university is amazing, and to have one of the best sort of regarded Russell Group universities offering businesses this is really extraordinary.
I think it might be worth mentioning, if you are able to, off the top of your head, Astrid, there is also the sustainability project. Now, we did a business support hour on it probably 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Where they came and explained what it is. Are you able to quickly just explain what that offer was?
Yes, thank you for mentioning it. There's an offer within the business school's accountancy team where they have students who are trained up to international sustainability audit levels. I can't remember the acronym because it begins with a G and has lots of I's in it. And what they do is the students come in and go through your organization for a sustainability audit. So it's not just eco and whether or not you put tea bags in the recycling bin. It's about your supply chain. It's much more like a B Corp assessment, and they do it for free. And not only that, if people are have audit people within their team, I think it's 1,800 quid or something, they actually train up auditors to give them so that they can use this product. And they have a fantastic sustainability database, and they have used it with quite a lot of local businesses. They give this service away. There are a lot of businesses locally that charge for it, but the university use this quite extensively here and also in Africa to build up business resilience. It is a fantastic product. I've seen it and had a chat to Ben and the team about it, and I'm very happy. If anybody's interested in it, I'm very happy to pass on the contact details for the gent who's the professor who runs the project.
And as I understand it, anyone interested in public procurement, it's going to become a requirement, if not already is, that you have some kind of sustainability audit to show. But yeah,
absolutely. With ESG, environmental, social and governance audit requirements, a lot of SMEs are thinking, oh, that's all right, it's just the big boys, it doesn't apply to us. Well, it does apply to any SME wanting to trade with the NHS or indeed any company that is based in the EU.
Yeah.
So if you're part of a supply chain, or you know someone who's part of a supply chain, ESG is coming at them like a truck. It's just not called ESG. So they need this kind of audit awareness is going to have a really big economic driver. Thanks, man.
Excellent. Thanks very much. Today's intermission is now over. So back to the main show, which is Kate. Back to you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. That was actually really useful intermission there. To know that the sustainability part is really quite important.
Yes.
Perfect. Any question on the student innovation projects? So if you're interested in doing this, please do send us an email and let us know, and I will add you to our prospecting list so that when it comes in August, September time, you will receive information about that, and then putting that conversation in there. So if you just let me know.
Okay.
The next part is about our careers events. So there are two different areas. One of them is our career fairs that are happening in the 16th and 17th of October 24. They're the 16th and 17th one is typically the one that is bigger. It's 2 days for organisations that are interested in people from all walks of the faculties. And then this year, we are doing separate weeks for the separate faculties to ensure that organisations are want specific areas, then they much more direct to find the students that are interested. The other areas that you can do are activations, presentations, panel networking, and workshops. What these are, so activation is the new word for pop-ups. So if you want to come in onto site, you know, have a pop-up of your organisation, then that's an activation. The elements that are interesting in here is that if you want to do any panel or networking, so if you want to be part of a panel, let us know and then we'll have you as a background. So if the social sciences want someone within a panel from the local area, then we can then call you up and say, would you like to be part of this panel? Let us know what it's been like working in your business, any issues that you've had, any tips on working to our students. That's available. You can also come on site to do a presentation. So there is one type of presentation that you can do for free, which is a skills workshop. So if you want to share who you are to try and increase your visibility to students, one of them is to do a skills workshop, because you're letting them know who you are, but you're also saying, you know, in this industry that we're doing, these are the type of skills that you have, including working within the New Forest. That's an area that potentially is of interest. And this year, we've had 6 career fairs. So that's not just the main ones, but also around the university, 40 employer events and over 6,000 students attending. Something I've been working on this year is called a Career Insight event, where I take a number of students to go and visit an employer to find out what it's like and get that opportunity to talk to staff. One of the things that we know with students, meeting people face to face, you get a lot more from conversations than you do just listening online. And so therefore that's what we're trying to do, is to get more face to face impacts. The last little bit here is about if you have got any positions and you want to reach out to university students, and all the universities probably have this, but this is the free careers platform that you can just upload your positions. We advertise, everything is paid, except if you're a charity, then voluntary positions are, you can then also upload your voluntary positions. But this is again free to use as much as possible. Yeah, so please, if that's anything, that's one location that you can actually advertise what's going forward. And then the last thing I wanted to highlight, what you can expect from our students, additional resources that if you need them, addressing any of your business challenges from a different perspective that you might not have seen before, recognising that they are early careers, so maybe some additional support is needed, but the amount of hopefully some bonuses come out of that. And diverse students, so a lot of our students, our university is about 50% international students, so just underneath the 50% mark. So you'll get the different cultures, different ways of thinking potentially coming to support. But also thinking about what other opportunities that you can do. So one thing I haven't mentioned here is about mentoring. So if you do have staff that want to grow, that have a lot of interest, that want to see students grow as well, thinking about, you know, how can I mentor? Can I be a mentor to a student? Which takes maybe about 3 to 4 meetings throughout the year. You get matched with someone that's similar, that's looking for something different, which then also helps raise your profile amongst it. Because we know there's a lot of conversation sometimes is that students go for the big corporate organisations Well, it's like, well, actually, if you come to the smaller companies, you get to maybe experience and do all parts of the business, not just one element of that. And then finally, if you want to engage, we do have, you can either come to our website, or this QR code is a where you can actually book a meeting. So it's a calendar for all of us within the team. So you can just choose when's the best time that you want to be using it. And then these are the different areas of the main areas. Is there anything from in here that you'd like to know more about? No.
Not a query, but just a recommendation. I'm a career mentor, and I've been mentoring young people from the university for about 5-6 years now.
Yeah.
I also volunteer on the Enactors Board, and it is extraordinary how little, how big the gap is between some graduates' understanding of what we're all like out here in business and what we are actually able to do. They assume so much more complexity and so much more, they just think it's a lot posher and more sophisticated than it is. And it's really helpful to enable graduates and undergrads to just understand what goes on in business. You can see that, like, the light bulbs go on, and it's really helpful, and they go on and they really do excel when they know how to. So you're helping them, show them where to put their footsteps, and you can see how helpful it is for them when they go on and they do stuff. You know, I'm still in touch with a couple of mine, you know, 3 years on, and they're in graduate jobs now.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, and that's I've had in during the Career Insight events, I've had conversations with students who have done a year in employment or a year in industry, and they've come back and said, wow, I seem to know more. I feel like I know more. I know what I'm doing. And they said, I've just got to get through this year. get that certificate. So the last thing I wanted to show is the website, just really briefly. It's the employer one, so you can go through each element. So you got to advertise your vacancy, UoS internships, year in employment. I didn't mention, but the year in employment is like a year in industry, but it's students that are on courses that are eligible to take a year out, but it doesn't have to be in the same position. So if you do want someone for a year, then thinking about putting this advertising it. And what's great about this particular one is that when a student has said that they are looking for a year in employment, we look through the My Career system, we pick out the graduate positions, we review it to see whether it's relevant, not graduate position, a placement position. Then we then send that targeted to particular students that have said they are interested. So increasing the amount of footfall effectively. Student innovation projects, career fairs, mentoring, and volunteer bank. For the UoS internships, if you click on here, if you want to find it further down, you got the grant funding, and there's a criteria form here, which is where then you would have questions that you can answer. Really quite brief, probably takes about 5-6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes to complete. Yeah.
So Kate, just to touch on that year in employment, you said it's for ones that are ineligible. So there's certain courses where the year's built in, isn't it?
Yes, correct.
So would this be a student wants to just sort of lapse a year to work for a year and then come back to their studies?
No, so this is for students that can do a year, but that the course is not integrated, that they're not part of an integrated course that already includes industry.
Right. Okay. And what sort of areas of study does that usually fall under?
Oh, that's a good question. So that's under. Let me just it should be under this one in here. There is on the website a list of all the opportunity, all the relevant courses that are part of it. Eligible students on eligible courses. There we go. Oh no, it's open up on my computer. That's why. So it opens up a web page and then it shows you what they are. So you got the faculties on this side, and then these are the courses that can do that additional year without having it integrated. So it's a lot of the humanities, some biological sciences, environmental life sciences and geography. And then it keeps going down with the chemistry, maths, economic, social and political. I don't know if these are ones that you can see and pick out that you're interested in, as well as politics and sociology. Does that answers your question?
Oh, no, that's really useful. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's always worth, from my perspective, when you're looking at it on this website, is to both to look at the employer side as well as the student side. There's all information on here about the careers. Cool.
Excellent.
Great presentation, Kate. I really loved it. I've already scanned the QR code and I'm going to book a meeting. Is it best to book that with you, or does it like anyone, or?
You can book it with anyone, whatever works with your schedule.
Okay, because I've gone through and I've already got businesses in mind for most of the initiatives you shared. So so shall I follow up with you? Because
Yes.
yeah, right, I'm booking that in.
Perfect.
Sorry.
I love it.
And that neatly brings us to the end. So thank you, Kate. So, as I said at the beginning, there's so many opportunities, and it's important that we share these. And let me